Dear Mr. President, distinguished guests, and above all, people of Kenya, I stand here before you, deeply honored by the privilege that Kenya, a proud and powerful nation of the African continent, has bestowed upon me to address the Kenyan people on behalf of the people of Slovenia. I stand before you, humbled yet proud of how warmly Slovenia has been received and of our shared desire to see the cooperation between our two countries flourish. 62 years ago, the Kenyan people wrote a pivotal chapter in history. Madaraka Day, the day Kenya gained the freedom of self-government, marked the day Kenya finally secured the right to shape its future. An arduous journey came to an end. The days when foreign settlers drove the Kenyan population from fertile land and forced them into poorly paid labor are long gone, but they will never be forgotten. For the struggle for the independence was anything but easy, and it came at a heavy cost. Of course, the Kenyan people know only too well that history is not just about facts. It is also about preserving and developing the fundamental values that ensure the survival of a nation. Values that strengthen its identity and above all, its unity. Jomo Kenyatta, the man who led Kenya to independence, recognized this. He also knew that Kenya's unity alone would not be enough to secure a bright future of Africa. Africa must also unite. A strong Africa, ladies and gentlemen, means a strong Kenya. In this context, we must recall another milestone anniversary. The year 1945 not only marked the end of the Second World War. That year, 80 years ago, the Pan-African Federation was created. The founders of the Federation, including Jomo Kenyatta, sent a clear message to the world. 700 million people living under colonial rule and without rights had had enough. They demanded their place under the sun. One by one, the former colonies became sovereign and independent states, but the idea of African unity never faded, least of all in Kenya. What better proof of this vision than the most important project in African history to date, the creation of the African Continental Free Trade Area in 2018. Kenya was among the first countries to ratify the founding treaty. Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, the lessons of the past shape our vision of the future. In the 1960s, the world experienced a wave of decolonization. Yet in many ways, colonialism, and if I may say so, a condescending attitude towards the newly independent states did not just cease to exist, but there was a way to build self-confidence and assert oneself on the world stage. My generation, ladies and gentlemen, grew up in former Yugoslavia. We still remember the non-aligned movement of the Cold War era, a large and respected group of countries, including Kenya, that defied the interests of the superpowers and former colonial powers. That spirit of non-alignment was vital then, and it remains relevant today. We live in a world where both old and emerging powers are yet again shaping the world before our eyes. All the rest of us, the smaller countries, must not just passively observe these developments. We must ask ourselves, what about us? Are we ready to raise our voices? And Mr. President, we are ready. Both our countries are preparing for the future, and we have chosen the right path. Sustainable economic growth, protection of rich biodiversity, a strong will to keep pace with rapid scientific development, a commitment to multilateralism, to international cooperation and tackling common problems. These are the values that unite us. As you know, Slovenia is currently serving as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council. Our diplomats take their role seriously and responsibly. They speak out whenever injustice is done to people all over the world, whenever innocent lives are lost. Kenya, too, brings a rich, in many ways unparalleled experience in multilateralism. The international importance of the country is reflected in the fact that several United Nations agencies are based here. Both our countries believe in multilateralism because peace, justice and prosperity should not be the privilege of some at the expense of others. We are, after all, an international community, and in a community we look out for one another. And in a community, solidarity matters. In a community, cooperation must be our goal, not selfishness. In a community, peaceful settlement of disputes, not wars, must be the norm. Only such a united community will be capable of confronting the world's most urgent challenges, such as poverty and climate change, lack of access to basic needs and social exclusion. This is why we should be proud that there are several projects in which Kenya and Slovenia are working together to support each other in tackling this kind of challenges. Dear Mr. President, dear people of Kenya, the Slovenian people celebrate Madaraka Day with you. We are a young country, but we too have our own story of struggle for independence. We celebrate with you because we are both proud and confident nations, nations that revere the past yet look firmly to the future. We must not be discouraged by the troubled world in which we live. We should look for opportunities that lead to a strong economy, scientific progress, innovation and environmental protection. Unity and determination have brought us this far. They will take us even further. As late Kenyan and African literature giant Ngugi wa Thiong'o had said in his Dreams in a Time of War, believe in yourself is more important than endless worries of what others think of you. Value yourself and others will value you. Validation is best that comes from within. Happy Madaraka Day. Asante sana.
Yeah, my good people, good morning, evening from wherever you're tuning. That is a Slovenian President, Her Excellency, and she was invited in Kenya by the President, Dr. William Ruto, in a Madaraka Day celebration. And you know, Dr. William, who is William Ruto of Kenya, you know who he is. He is such a kind of a guy, you know. When I say that, you just have to understand. So it's very good. It's very good concerning the speech that this lady has made, and it's very, very good for the foreigners, people, when they come to our countries, to remind African leaders to know their roots and to know where they came from. It's very good to remind African leaders the history of their countries and where they came from. This can help a lot, and you know, she made a very electrifying speech, very electrifying speech, which I think that the leaders, African leaders, have to base on some facts that this lady has made. Oh, because when we as Africans, we each and every year, each and every time, each and every year, there is a specific date that we celebrate these holidays like Madaraka Day. Each and every country in Africa celebrates this holiday, Madaraka Day. But you know, before we focus much in these Madaraka Day celebrations, we have to ask ourselves, what are we celebrating concerning Madaraka Day? What is Madaraka Day first? Then if we can have the answer of that question, then before we focus on celebrating that Madaraka Day, we have to do the necessarily, and we have to do the things that are concerns that day, Madaraka Day. That is the day Africa or African countries were freed from themselves from the colonizers. But which this independence that we are celebrating, which we call Madaraka Day, are we independent? That's the first question. Are we independent countries? If we are not, then why are we celebrating? Because we have to celebrate. If you can remember the other day when Ibrahim Traore was invited in Russia to go and celebrate that the grand parade of Russia. Russia was celebrating the Madaraka Day, the day they freed themselves, the day they got independent. But they have the right to celebrate because when you take a look at the country like Russia, they have made a lot of development. They are far away from where they were. Those days and during the colonization, there was many countries which were below from Kenya. Countries like Slovenia, countries like China, countries like India, these countries, their economy was poor. And in Africa, Kenya was the highest running economic of country in Africa. Kenya was very high in economic development. But at this time, Kenya is very low when it comes to economy and development. Why? Because Kenya has never been able to package itself. Infrastructure, the development, all these issues that we are speaking of, they are very low compared to that countries like Slovenia and India and China. Why? Just because countries like China, all those countries, they have packaged themselves, they have organized themselves, they know themselves. They work each and every day and night to improve their economy and infrastructure. They have developed a lot just because they have organized themselves. They know themselves and they are working towards it each and every day. But in African countries, the leaders are only focused on corruption issues. The leaders are only focused on the puppetry. They are only ready to help and cooperate with the foreign leaders to make the unity of African countries. This is the only way maybe we can talk about these issues of development and all that. But African leaders, we are supporting leaders like Ibrahim Traore because they have sparked their countries. They are working hard to make their countries the best countries. They are working so hard to make that to make sure that their citizens are no longer suffering in their hands. The citizens are able to access the developments and everything and the resources of their countries. Africa has everything that it needs to develop. And when Africa organizes and package itself well, you know, it's a very few years, then Africa can overtake the Europe countries in economy, in infrastructures, in development. Because those people we see and every day that they are developed, they are getting everything in Africa to make themselves developed. But yet we have everything, but we don't develop because they have never packaged themselves. So African leaders, together with the citizens, we have to work towards this issue, towards this agenda. And through this, then we are going to achieve this agenda. Just on my thumbnail, as I have said, I have written there that Africa is soon developing and come to compete the European countries. And it is possible. It is very possible only if Africa is well managed, organized, and focused to the agenda that we are fighting for each and every day. So I like the speech that this lady has made because it has been a long of our time when our African leaders are in the foreign leaders to come to join their celebrations like this. But we appreciate Dr. William Ruto for this. At least he has did for the Kenyans, because through this we learn different ideas. We learn different ideas from the foreign people who has already developed, and there is at least somewhere where we can say that we can look at as examples. They have example to show us. Those countries that are giving us good examples, they were where we were there, they were where we are today. But where they are today is something different. So when we learn learn from them, then we work towards it. We can make what they are trying to tell us. We can achieve it. We can make it happen only if we can decide that we need this to happen. I appreciate this speech. Maybe if you love the speech, if you love the video, you will tell me in the comment section. Speak out your views. Then subscribe to the channel. At least we are doing this an African way. We doing this because we love African. We need the best Africa. We need the Africa to be admirable, to be beautiful. Because when I give example of the countries like Afghanistan, Korea, India, all these countries that are very developed. This country were also colonized. They were colonized. But where are they today? They are where they are today just because they focused on their agendas. They focused on their dreams. They focused to develop themselves without depending on some people, without accessing some people to come and maybe interfere with their resources. Because the resources of the country, when you let some people come and interfere with it, that's the only way you will lose your focus on developing your country. Because this the only resources that can boost your economy so that it can make your country to be developed just to the place where you feel you want to be. So these countries like the Arab country, they are more developed, beautiful, amazing, just because they never allowed the foreign powers to go and access their countries. The citizens are enjoying the money from their resources. The countries are very developed. Life is very easy for the common citizens just because they wanted it to happen. So Africans can make it happen only if they realize the benefit of it, the benefit of independence and freedom without involving some foreign people to come and interfere with their dreams. This is the only way we can achieve this, because when we depend on ourselves, we will be able to manage ourselves and to do everything by ourselves, and no one will come to interfere with us, because we must achieve our dreams. Stay tuned. This is Kenyan Explorer, and thank you for watching this video. If you like the video, comment, share, and you can go back and watch the other videos next time, and be blessed. Thank you.